Let's dive in, compadres. I feel like we have both been, Morgs and I, PK, so excited for this chat, probably more than you.
Well, people have been asking us, like, when's Peter coming on? When's Peter
So I
coming
rebel.
on?
I'm like, never.
They have.
Yeah. We're not friends anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Fucking hell.
So here she is, ladies and gentlemen, for those that have been...
By popular request.
By popular request.
God. Oh, don't put the pressure on.
No, it's fine. Morg said to me before, we were joking. We were like, where? Because we could go so many places with this conversation.
I was thinking about it too.
We're going to go everywhere. But Morgs is like, nah, I'm just going to be like, you cancelled Netflix. Tell me about it.
Yeah. So
oh, yeah.
I saw that.
So we saw that.
I don't know if I'm quite there yet because I don't really know much about what it's all about.
I think when you become parents and seeing shows where they're sexualizing children, it's kind of like, no, you just can't.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're watching Below Deck Mediterranean right now, and that's from Apple TV, so we just don't really have a need.
I am obsessed with that show. And we actually watched that. No, but to be fair, can I say, Morgs? So he was like, cancel Netflix, and then he said he wanted to. I said, oh well, we've got to do the same. I just want to make sure I've watched it, like I want to understand it. And Morgs is like, I can't watch it. I was like, actually, yeah, that's so true. So we should just cancel it.
Well, it's one of those things. It's like, I've seen what people have said about it. I haven't seen the trailer and I haven't watched any of it. So it's like, do I watch it and make my own mind up, or do I? And that gives Netflix, like views, or do I just go, yeah, shit, can it, or do I steal it off the internet? And I kind of feel like that's dodgier, given what it's supposed to be about.
That's dodgier.
It comes up in your search history, stealing it from a pirate site.
Oh, it's tricky, hey. And then even yesterday, I was like, oh shit, there's something I want to watch on there. But there's so many options. There's so many of the other things out there, and they need to fucking learn, don't they?
Well, Netflix is like this.
You vote with your dollar.
Well, they're meant to be like this super progressive organization. I mean, they fired one of their like board members not that long ago, a few years ago, right? Because he'd said the N-bomb, but he didn't say it in a way that it was like he was reading a line from a book or something, but just because he said it, they would like fired him. And now they've allegedly got basically, 2 degrees away from full-blown
child pornography.
Yep. And they're very much, you look at all the way they're so biased with regards to American politics too, like pumping out Michelle and Barack Obama and nothing at all positive about the other side.
Yeah.
And that also pisses me off too. It's like, oh, okay, this is again just part of the agenda. It's not neutral. It just pisses me off.
So the joke is the joke is that it's called Leftflix.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is funny.
And the Leftflix is
I've said this a long time about Netflix, right? And even all their documentaries, right? They're not documentaries. They just always present. It's just like more like an op-ed, whereas a documentary is meant to present both sides of the arguments and let you make a decision. Like even with all this stuff about nutrition and all that sort of stuff, they're always just kind of so one-sided. Which is So I don't know. I'm almost there. I've almost convinced myself in the last 5 minutes to fuck it off.
Yeah. Well, you do. You start to just be like. A lot of that stuff right now. It's just if it's not truly, free place of fairness, then it's just like fuck off.
Yeah.
You're not that good, Netflix. Like we're not going to die without you.
We've got Stan and we've got Amazon and we've got all the things.
We have Stan.
Hello,
we have Captain Kim.
We have 9 Life. I am obsessed with 9 Life.
Yeah. It's got 10 now. Okay. You can rewatch The Bachelor, which is a whole other conversation of like the worst. I mean, seriously.
Hang on, he's from Perth. We're from Perth.
Oh, it's hideous. My sister was on. And she rips. But it's just the concept of the show. I feel like I mean, take the pulse of the world right now. Like 24 women fighting over a guy.
I can't watch it. I watched it for your sister. I remember when Shan was on it, I only watched it and then she got booted off and I was like, well, she left and it was like, thank God, I need to stop this. I can't. But I get it. If people, look, lots of people watch it to switch off. That's 9 Life for me. I watch people move to Mexico.
Would you know what, like TV is that? I need TV some nights to ground and to actually switch off because it's very hard for me to. And I don't not sorry about it, you know. But there are some shows where I'm watching it and I'm like, this is so morally fucked up. I mean, there's some things I watch which are just, you know, I mean, questionable, and I love them. But there's other things where I'm like, look, I'm just so tired of watching these women like absolutely tear each other to shreds, and like it like hurts me to see them fighting, and then they say things like, I've lost my chance at love. It's like, no, but there's actually real life where you can find love too. Like it's not just this one guy in the world. Like there's real life. You can still find love.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
Well, that's why I have like I'm not able to believe any of these people go on these things for any sort of legitimate reason, especially the show maths.
Not anymore, for sure.
Yeah. Like it's all about Instagram followers and trying to, you know, get famous and all that sort of stuff.
I kind of want to go here though with like, because I'm like, this has just been the theme. And I think in 2020, it's such a cool thing to give your voice through PK. So for those that don't know, but I'm like, in my world, everyone knows Peta Kelly. But you have 2 beautiful children, babies, Sol and Pax, and you've never put their faces on your social media. On your Instagram, you don't even have Facebook. You're underground like that. So let's go there, because I think with the cancellation of Netflix and everyone, you know, so enraged by this exploitation of children and things like that, and I know you've just launched Clubb. I was just telling Morgsy, which is blown up and phenomenal, only available on Spotify.
I'm so exclusive, aren't I?
Okay, Morgan said it. He was like, "Oh, only on Spotify." Check that. I
did not get a deal. I didn't.
How Joe Rogan of you. But it's so relative, right? And I know you like cake, spelled Cakke.
No, Clubb is got 2 B.
Oh fuck, sorry. Okay.
You know what's funny? Eric, when he first said it, he said Cake Club. I was like, honey, no, fuck no. What? Club? What's Club? And I just absolutely ripped him.
It's crusty lube.
Crusty lube. Cake Clubb.
Sorry, lube.
Yeah. All right. And so, and you've done stuff on conscious parenting there, which I've personally seen across my socials, people have gone mad for. They love it. They're sharing, it's everywhere. So take us down this path, because we're yet to be parents, as you know, and I have we talk about it. We're like, let's chat about this now, this choice of putting our babies all over the internet or not, or children all over the internet. What was the decision for you, and how have you remained so steadfast in it?
It's just like, as a parent, it's our job to protect the child, and not like protect them from, you know, their liberation and their nature and their imagination, not that, but to protect them physically. And also for me, putting kids on social media, it doesn't benefit them. It's of no use to them. It's like they don't get a choice. It's, you know, so for me, putting my kids on social media, it's like, of course I want to show the world how beautiful my children are. Of course there's so many photos we take that I don't share because, you know, their faces are showing, but it just felt right for me. It's always felt right for me that these children haven't and can't yet express whether they are okay with thousands of people around the world looking at them and knowing about just looking at their face and having access to these private details about their lives. So it was just all about this. I'm their advocate until they can advocate for themselves, and they didn't give me permission to do that. And for me, I feel sometimes really vulnerable and open being on social media. That's why I came off Facebook a couple of years ago. Even on Instagram, I feel really vulnerable and open sometimes. There's so much entitlement. People feel they're so entitled to your life just because you're on there. And, you know, there's so many energies on there too, which are not right. And people can project their energies through social media onto people's bodies. Mm-hmm. And they can project their energies and their thoughts onto your child's body and their energy field. And you have no idea who's doing it. And so for me, it's like, these children, for me, they deserve the right to privacy. And you're seeing 18-year-olds now who are suing their parents because they're like, I didn't want to have all of these people knowing all of this about my life. And you see some people Instagram storing their children's tantrums. That shit breaks my heart. And I'm always one who can see both sides. And I still genuinely do not judge people for their decisions. I'm the mother of my children, that's it. But it breaks my fucking heart when I'm seeing these children be in these vulnerable moments, and their children, not only is the child feeling their parents, filming them in these vulnerable moments and letting them think that rather than be here with you, I want to show this to other people. That's heartbreaking to me. And what's it showing, not only is it teaching our children that life is about, like, rather than being in the moments, it's about capturing the moments and showing it to other people. It's so multi-layered. And because Erik and I have, you know, and you two do, there's lots of people who follow us that we don't know. It's just never sat well with me that I share, even sometimes I do share some, I still feel like I'm oversharing sometimes, even the back of her head and everything like that.
You're so not. You have such a good balance. And because I am very, you know, I like to share things, but I also know that, hey, my children don't belong to me. I'm their advocate. I'm not going to share things about them and their life just because it's on brand or appropriate for me. And that's my role as a parent. However, I know that there's many people who are like, but my kids are part of my brand. I do children's clothes, whatever. That's totally fine, your call. But for me, in my work and what feels most right for me, I've personally felt super open and grabbed at on social media. There's not a chance in hell I am putting my children in that situation, especially when they're this little and when they can't voice that. I mean, Sol probably can, but she doesn't understand if I say, is it okay?
Well, they don't understand the consequences.
On that though, and on that, because you'll remember PK with Delilah, so my little niece, ever since she was a little girl, she didn't actually, like, even for me, so I haven't put lots about her up ever because she didn't like it. I remember when I would babysit her once a week, with Morgs and I would babysit, and often if you get the camera out because they are doing something cute, or it was almost like, no, Auntie Nana, like, put it away. And I was like, I'm sure she's not the only one, but it's been really powerful for us to witness all of our friends choose different paths, for sure, and literally be able to remove ourselves with no judgment ever, of course, as well, but look at all of the decisions. And we always talk about it. We're like, well, and who fucking knows what we'll do when it's our time. But I just love that privacy for them almost. And I think the power of you speaking to this is you are a parent. It isn't normal. Like, you are the minority, I feel, where you do protect your kids online to that extent. And I think if more parents could hear that, well, I can build a huge fucking global brand like you have and write books and be a woman in her own sovereignty and not have the kids almost as that brand, then it would give them more permission to own that choice as well.
Do you know what, PK, as well? You know, one thing I don't know, something I've always observed, but with you not sharing about your kids, some of the most savage things I've seen online are mothers to other mothers. Do you know what I mean? When they post about their kids or they share photos and stuff. And I think for you, I mean, probably one of the biggest blessings is you know, I don't know, but I'm assuming you've been able to avoid some of that.
Some of it.
Probably not.
There's no avoiding it. There's definitely
there's no avoiding it. People will be like, Anna, what the fuck? How are you wearing a purple shirt? I don't have a purple shirt. I'm so offended by you. How dare you? Oh, learn your crowd, Anna. Seriously. That's the internet landscape right now. So there is no avoiding anything. But again, it's my children other people are not welcome to them. They're not entitled to them. They're not welcome to them at all. And I'm very strong on that. I've been walking around the streets of when I lived in Bondi and stuff and recognize children and be like, oh, I know that kid. And then be like, whoa, I just recognized that child from Instagram. I wonder how many other people around recognize that child. So put the physical safety aside, there's energetic protection for me that is in this world where there's so many, you know, and again, people can argue, oh yeah, but it's just the world now, Peter. It's just the world. That's fine. I totally get it. But for me, parenting is about being connected to your children and you're the intuition of your children. If you can't feel and intuit your children and connect to what they are wanting, that's your job as a parent, beyond their words. And when you're pregnant, your intuition is everything, because your children can't communicate with you in any other way other than through your intuition. Mama, through your body instincts. Mama, I want you to eat this. I don't want you to eat this. Do this. That's how our children connect with us. So if we're going to put our children on social media purely because of our beliefs and not actually tune into this child and what's right for them, then just know that it's a one-sided thing. Whereas for me, of course, there's times where I've been like, I really want to share, like, the kids are so beautiful. Rah, rah, rah. However, these are human beings. They're human beings. They're not, and I always come back to it. Is this benefiting them in any way? Or is this to suit, is this for my own whatever, or is it for other people expected of me and expected of my children? And I'm already like, you can't put your entitlement onto me, let alone my children, So just, I do get really fiery about it, because I don't know, children it's dangerous. It's dangerous right now how kids are often being exploited, and maybe we're not with that intention, but in their most vulnerable moments of the day.
It's like you said, there's no opt out for the kids, right?
No.
And there's going to be plenty of time for them to do it in the future as well. But people who like with large followings and their kids become famous, like, I don't necessarily know if that's a good thing either, because if you look at all the the child stars, kids who are famous really, really young, they don't have a good outcome when they become adults. So if historically that, like all these child stars from the 80s and stuff are grown up now, are all messed up and stuff like that. Just even Justin Bieber, right?
Yeah.
When he got sort of famous at like 14 and 15, it's like you're not used to that sort of notoriety and handling that sort of exposure. So I
believe
I love that you've done it. I think it's actually a brilliant idea.
I can see, I for sure can see, like, this is the path we'll go down.
Yeah.
But I want to help people now. So, like, for me, everything you've said, there's like two paths we can go down. One is how fiercely you protect your boundaries. And I think this is another conversation. This is like a whole podcast we could do.
I don't know how I'm still part of the inner circle. How am I still here?
What do you mean?
Your inner circle.
What?
I don't know what he's saying.
No. Your boundaries with the people that you have close to you in your life. I was like, I don't know how I'm still part of that.
Oh, why wouldn't you not be
You're
part
a
of
fucking
that?
legend, babe. That's
Yeah, hello. Why would you not be part of that?
No, I'm just talking.
You've been with us since the beginning, babe. No, so boundaries. But
self-deprecate. I'm doing self-deprecation here. All right.
You're being
on the podcast.
You're being a dickhead.
Not going to
no.
Love yourself.
Yeah, love thyself, honey. But this is the thing, right? So there's two big things that you've taught me so much with: boundaries, and the other one is, and I want to give you this platform, is like not caring about. So what some people care about, it doesn't need to be your fight, right? So everything you just said, I love it. So some mothers could be listening and have gotten super triggered then, but it's like, but that's not their thing, that's not the platform that they need to stand on. That's not the fire that they need to have.
Exactly.
And so there's like that I want to like speak, because you speak so powerfully to that. And then the boundaries aspect. Where should we go first?
I mean, the thing, right, not needing to agree, firstly, we're all here to say different things, and we just have to come to an understanding. And I think this is such a basic thing that many of us don't have. It's an understanding that it's not our job to try and get everyone to think like us.
Yes.
It's our job just to know what we believe and think, and to respect that other people also have that right as a human being. And if we can just understand that basic thing, it takes the charge off being like, oh, fuck you. And so many people, this, canceling people in their personal lives and in their lives because they have a different view, or they have a different opinion, or they see the world differently. But that's how we're meant to evolve, is through diversity and through all being different. That's how we evolve the human story. And we forget that. And there's all these wounds, and there's also how we were raised, and there's all these different things that influence that. But we all got to come to that at some point, that you can't be all like, yeah, I want a better world, but lack that basic empathy. And it is hard sometimes, especially when we're so highly charged about something, like like vaccinations or children online or whatever. There's so much emotion to it. Sometimes we just have to be able to say, if I was that person and I had their upbringing, their past lives, their lineage, then I would do and feel and say and behave exactly like they are. Exactly. No different. And there's so many things that contribute to our viewpoint. And when you just judge someone on their viewpoint, you know, it's so like this politics. Oh, I can't be your friend if you're a Trump fan, or I can't be your friend. It's just like, okay, that's just not like, that's not activism at all. Yeah. It's like missing the mark. And we're not going to evolve to a more unified world without that, just that basic empathy and more mature compassion, where it's easy to be compassionate for people who think like us and go to the same protests as us. But what about realizing that everybody is fighting their different fights or caring about their different things? Essentially, all of them feed into the same one, if we can really like realize that. And then I've had to learn that through just the hard way, I'd say, through copying so much shit for this and then rubbing it.
Being a vegan and then not.
Yeah. But also noticing how triggered I am by other people. And so both ways, feeling it come in and then obviously noticing where it goes out. And then and my brothers taught me a lot about it too. I remember one time at my New Way Live event and everybody was running up to donate money to this cause and he didn't run up. And I remember afterwards him saying, I know where I give my time and my money and I'm really solid in who I am and how generous I am. So I'm not going to do something out of obligation because other people will then think I'm a good person because I know who I am. And so I think the older we get, the more we know ourselves, and we also have to learn by being so fucking exhausted of trying to be everyone else and try and fight. Oh, I'll care about that. And I used to be like the GoFundMe girl. I would just sit there all day sending money to everyone in my inbox. Send to this GoFundMe. Okay, all day, because I felt like I had to be that person so that people knew I was a caring, good, noble person, right? And then I got to this point in my life where I was like fucking exhausted and just being like, no, I know who I am. I know what people are going to say about me at my funeral. I feel comfortable I just know my heart and I don't need other people to know it. And I got to that place from spending too much energy on caring if people knew it. Yeah. And it's impossible. It's impossible right now. Honestly, people will never know. It's like you post about when you give and then people slam you. Then you don't post about what you give. Why are you not giving? It's like you have to just get to a point where you're like, I know how I'm living. I'm aligned. And you have to be able to be Ricky Gervais in that way, which is why he's like the fucking most inspiring person to me.
He's the best.
The dog's named after him.
Yep, my dog's named after him. But we had a relationship with him. Let's be clear, we were neighbours in London and he played with our dogs.
I can verify this. I met him via them.
So Anna knows.
It was a real thing. I was like, oh my God. He knew your dog's name before he knew your names though.
Yes, exactly.
Let's preface it. But then your names.
That's why we called our new dog Ricky, to honour our relationship he had with Blue and Harley, and also to remind us of like everything Ricky Gervais is about. Say what you mean and
mean what you say.
How other people perceive it, it truly isn't your job. And that doesn't mean you go around being a C or a B or an F, whatever. It's that you could be the most well-intentioned, sparkly fucking person ever, and there's always going to be someone who has something to say about it. Like in Humanity, when Ricky Gervais, I call him Ricky Gervais, fucking Ricky G, he does that bit how he's like, oh, and you put up guitar lessons, say someone puts up guitar lessons in the middle of the town hall, and someone walks over and they're like, what? I didn't want guitar lessons. And they call the number. Hello, I didn't want guitar lessons. Like as if everything has to suit you all the time, right? Yeah. And he put up something recently and it was like, people are starting to say that you can't joke about whatever you want. That's wrong. You absolutely can joke about whatever you want. And it's up, other people make, well, something like, it's up to you whether you give a shit or not about what other people say about it. It's a great system. And it's true. And it doesn't, that's the thing is, it's just like, you can try and mold yourself into being the most perfect, I'm going to please everyone, but it's fucking impossible. And you only arrive at this place by realizing that it's impossible. The amount of people like that come to my inbox with no understanding of who I am. There's so many accusations and things about what I am giving, what I'm not giving, what I should be doing, and I have 2 young children, right? So really no one is entitled for me to even blink an eyelid in their direction.
Yeah, period.
And then this is how entitled we are. And it's insane. It's fucking insane. And I know when I'm reading people's stuff now, I truly have gone to a point in myself where I am like, I've never been one to jump on people's stuff and be like, I'm entitled to your energy, explain this to me. That's just not me. And so that's why when people do it back, I'm just like, whoa, can we just rewind a minute? Realize how much energy a human being has, and that our expectations of people that we don't even know based on what we've seen on the Instagram is outrageous. However, the boundaries bit comes in is that we can't change when people are fucking batshit. We can't. We can only decide how we are going to assert and uphold our boundaries so that we can still express ourselves and be ourselves and contribute to the world in the way that's aligned with us without letting all of this other stuff derail us all the time. And it used to derail me. I've had so many times where I've shut my voice down because people just weren't like, the purity of what I had to say was firstly sometimes premature, and secondly, it felt just unsafe for me to say it because I was copying so much stuff. So I just shut my voice down, and then that led to depression and this other stuff that comes from cutting off your life force. So it's about personal responsibility and being like, I know what I'm here to give, and I'm not perfect, but I know who I am, and I know what I'm here to give and how I'm here to give it. And it's not going to please everyone, but that's not my job, because I'm not going out there being a dick to people. I'm expressing myself. That's my job.
Yeah.
And I've got to take responsibility for knowing what my boundaries are and knowing who I am, rather than being like, can you guys just stop being so entitled? You know, it's never going to happen.
Social media is so weird. It's the weirdest way to communicate, right? If you're just reading what someone has written, often it's what you've written with a photo, right?
Yep.
And people can't determine nuance from it. They don't see the face, like your body language, your facial cues and stuff like that. So they read it and they just interpret it however they want to interpret it. And if they interpret it as, you know, something they disagree with, and they pick up pitchforks and, you know, the mob piles on and stuff, it's crazy. It's weird. I often think, like, is it sustainable long term? Long term for people to communicate like that way. Maybe it needs to evolve or something like that into something better and something new. I obviously think like streaming and things like that is probably the way to go. That's why I love podcasts, PK, because it's you know, you actually get a chance to sit and have a conversation. I know we're doing this virtually, but I can still see you. You know, I can still look into your eyes to a certain sort of extent. But even here, like if we're in a studio or something like that, you can actually have a conversation with someone. And even if you disagree with maybe something they've said, you've actually got an opportunity to actually try and at least understand the way they think. Yeah. But in social media, people are just like, oh, no, we're not having any of that. Like if you said something that challenges the way I think or
it's gonna get offended.
Identity, it's like you're attacking me. It's like, it's crazy. I mean, Anna's had some crazy stuff like recently, stuff that I've just like, she tells me, I'm just like, fuck.
I laugh though, but everything you've just said to me is just the personification of where I'm at in life, with just knowing who I am, knowing what I stand for, knowing I'm pure of heart with it, speaking my voice, standing up when I see an injustice with the things that I'm passionate about, and then being okay with my boundary to say no to everything else, like, and be like, well, that's, and I'm telling you, oh my God, I'm thinking of the second one. What was the first book? Earth is Hiring taught me that strongly, your first book, truly. And then, I mean, you innately go along, because I think baptism of fire, right, with hate and criticism and things, you just learn as you go as well. But, and then Stop Missing the Point, your second book, when you just said the Ben story, I was like, I read that the other day. Like, it's just that it's to know thyself, know thy boundaries, give a shit about what you give a shit about, stand firm in that, but know that you don't have to care about everything and appease everybody and not try to offend everybody.
It's not even that you don't have to, it's that you physically cannot. And I learned that by trying. And this is the thing, it's like I was so willing to humble myself and lean into other people's perceptions, and too willing that I would leave myself and forget my fire and forget who the fuck I was and where I've come from and who I am, because other people were sort of saying that I wasn't as worthy to feel as other people were, and I would tend to them and be over responsible for them. And then I learned through getting mastitis, through getting sick, through all of these things, no more. I have a 3-year-old and a baby, a 3-year-old watching me. I'm not going to teach her that other people's viewpoints and expression is important. However, you need to always leave yourself to bend to what they think. And it's not about not caring or being a humble person. There's such a thing though as being overly humble, where you forget who you are and your own worth. So there needs to be a balance where you're like, I know who I am, but I can still completely listen to who you are. And if there's something that resonates with me, like, shit, I could actually really take that. Do it. This isn't about walking around like, this is who I am, take it or leave it. That's not what this is about. But it's about not copying stuff that is like not okay by you and not true for you, and leaving yourself to oversoothe other people's perception of how you need to be. And so I'm in that middle ground where I can always listen. Yeah, fuck, I can see how, and I've had instances recently like, yeah, I can really thank you for making me aware. I'm going to be more aware of that. Totally. Whereas back in the day, I may have been like, fuck, I am an absolute idiot. Like, and forget what I felt and not even let myself feel what I felt. And recently I had something happen and I came to you with it and you reminded me, and I was like, this happened, and I was feeling really shit, like, oh my God. And you reminded me, like, you were like, no, that is not okay. And I felt into it, and I was like, no, it's not okay.
Boundary overstep.
But I was getting ready to be like, wow, like leave myself and my truth, because my priority was to be there for them, rather than being like, who am I? What do I feel? And how can I be in this and feel what you feel? And like, if there's something that I need to, like, then I will take it. But I'm not just going to take everything because you said I should.
Exactly.
You know? And as women and as mothers, that is so important. And I even noticed with Soul at the park, things like, if I say, you know, we're talking about sharing and things. And if I'm always saying to Soul, you need to share, it's so nice to share. And then another kid doesn't share with her, and me to say, don't worry, they don't need to share. I'm teaching her that what everybody else wants and needs is way more important than what she needs. And she should always share, but other people don't have to share with her. It's like we're teaching, we ourselves think it's more important to be seen as a good person than to honor ourselves. And then we start doing it to our children. And it goes on and on and on and on. So I notice now, Sol will always ask me, Mum, tell me a story about when Henry didn't share his ball, because she's really wanting to understand this, like, really like her worth in this.
Oh, and I love that. Tell me the story.
She always asks me to tell a story about things that she's really processing. I said, you know, some people will want to share things, some people will not. And you will sometimes want to share and sometimes you won't. I said, there's some things that Mummy loves to share and some things that I just don't want to share. And that's up to me and my heart. And you'll always just ask your heart, do I want to share and do I not? And also respect that other people can ask their heart as well. And so rather than being like, you need to share, because otherwise that mum at the park will think that I'm not a good parent. It's, you know, and it's dangerous.
I would be like, so let's crush Henry and take it from him.
Oh, it's going to be a fucking brilliant
father. Stories ready to tell you when he comes.
Yeah. Uncle Morgs has got some great stories. But this happened to me at a dinner. This is when I really realized.
Say something nasty about Henry's mum.
Teach her some jokes, God. But no, this happened at a dinner probably a year or two ago, and Delilah was there, probably 2 years ago. We're at a dinner and there was a confrontation that I had super calmly and respectfully with someone at the table. Just, I didn't like who they were. They shouldn't have been sitting there. Everything, it all kind of kicked off. And very politely, they were sort of saying things to me. And I said, enough. I just stood my ground and I said, hey, you know, you're not welcome here. you can get up and leave. Someone at the table actually felt uncomfortable by me speaking up and saying you need to leave, and made themselves known and said, I'm uncomfortable with this confrontation, Anna, just leave it. And I actually said, no, it doesn't, in this instance, I'm not comfortable. I'm sorry, you're not uncomfortable, but they need to leave the table. I just still stood my ground. Anyway, they left the table, the night kicked on. We were walking back to our room that night, and little Miss 7 at the time spoke up, and she said, Auntie Nana, can I tell you something? Beth was there as well, my sister. And she said, I learnt tonight how to stick up for myself politely. And Beth burst into tears. And I said, what was the biggest lesson you learnt? And it was, I can't remember it verbatim, but it was like that even if it makes someone else uncomfortable, you need to always stick up for yourself as well. And I was like, ladies and gentlemen, the 7-year-old in the room understands it, and the 35-year-old at the table did not. So it's true. I could have told Delilah, now Delilah, you need to always da-da-da-da-da, but they're always just going to pick up on who you are and what you do.
Exactly. And same thing with like, oh, don't you're making that person sad. And then they think, oh shit, I better not express myself because that person is sad. And it's, it's so important that we're teaching our children how to be loving and caring, but they already are loving and caring.
We fuck them up.
We fuck up their sense of self-worth, and like we fuck them up. Like, it's about preserving this stuff that's natural in them and being there to help them make sense of things and stuff. But a lot of the time and this is where I'm really coming up, like children are, they like when people say children are your biggest teacher, there's no truer word, because they show you like, Mum, I need you to make, and you have to look inside yourself like, wow, like, oh shit, like what I want for you is actually better than the standard I'm holding for myself. So I now need to change the standard for myself. And again, it's like, we care more about how others perceive us than how much we're actually really alive. And when we're truly alive and living from our center, we're always a loving, caring person. Even if others don't, it doesn't sound how others want it to sound, we still are. And asserting our boundaries is incredibly loving, because I've had friends where I've asserted boundaries and they've gone, thanks, because I totally did put that on you unnecessarily, and I was having a shit that, like, thanks for showing me. And other friends who've gone, no, fuck you, it's just, and I've had other times where I've, again, just been like, I'm sorry, oh my God, you're right. And it's just, yeah.
But then you resent and you hate it.
From the truth, you're never letting anybody truly down.
Yeah. It happened at, like, Morgsy was on a guy's trip. Boys.
Fishing, camping, fishing, boating, camping, fishing.
It's more no boating, just camping and drinking.
Yeah. He sent me a photo. He was like, babe, whilst you're like sticking up for Victoria, so am I. And it was a can of Victoria bitter. And I was like, kind of.
It's like 8 a.m. I was having a VB. It's my version of thoughts and prayers.
That's what
you know what? I'm sure the people of Victoria appreciated you.
They would have.
It's probably more helpful. It's probably more helpful than thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
More helpful than love and light in this scenario, I think.
Well, it's Victorian. It's Victorian bitter, so that's probably. Do they brew it there still?
I was going to say, I don't know. I don't even know if they maybe. But he was on this boys' trip. And my beautiful girlfriends and I that live in the same complex, we were planning, well, they were planning the weekend, and they said, oh, well, we're going to do a girls' night, which we did on the Saturday night, and which was super fun. We clayed and drank champagne.
I saw on stories.
Oh my God. It was super fun. But then the next day, G and Jessie were going to go, they were like, okay. And then Sunday we're going to go for brunch and we're going to do all these beautiful things. And I was like, it's just a no from me. Like I was like, I am untouchable and uncontactable on Sunday, but have the best time and live your best life. And it was funny because then that night, girls' night, we were doing our questions. So we were like, what are you most afraid of? And all these things. And nice. I think we were saying what was all of our best trait. And Jessie said, the personification of self-love from you, like even the nose, like even like, and it was so easy. I was like, I even said to Morgs, I was like, oh, for a second, I go, I hope the girls don't, this is before I left. I was like, I hope the girls don't take that personally, that I'm like, I don't want to hang out with you on Sunday. But then I was like, well, no. And then it's funny. And then I thought, I don't actually care, because it's not, there's no way that it's I don't want to hang out with them. But then that Saturday night, Jessie said, it's my favorite trait of yours is a personification of self-love, in that like you'll even say no for a girl's catch up. So, and I think that's where so many mothers, and you can speak to this, again, it goes back to that boundaries, but it's like mothers, even with their kids, because I know conscious parenting is your DMO at the moment and you're phenomenal at it. But mothers will martyr themselves to, just in general, all the time, for all things, and won't say no. And then I just think, what are the kids watching when that happens? 100%.
And I agree with the girls. You are the personification of self-love, and you do, because of your story, a lot of it as well. I don't know if you've shared all your story, but you've taught me a lot about it. And that's why I always come to you if I feel myself getting ready to abandon ship, and I will come to you and be like, I need to tell you something, because sometimes it's automatic and you always like, no. But you'll also be like, you're also not, it's not just a flat out answer. It's still always exploring what's the truth in everything, like what is the truth, were you a bitch, were you not a bitch? Like that's where we need to be. So firstly, yes, I agree. What was the question again?
Well, it was just like, you are amazing at this. And I said how mothers are not doing this. Martyring.
Yeah, what's it showing the children? Exactly. And it's, our children want to feel liberated. And I feel that's my personal purpose in this lifetime, beyond anything anyone on Instagram sees me do, or what I make, or what anyone can list on a resume or bio. So I don't do resumes or bios, and I don't have one on my website, because I'm like, it's just not me. And all those things don't make up who I am. My legacy is going to be breaking the cycle of a long line of women who didn't know how amazing they were, and they didn't recognize their worth, and they weren't liberated in so many ways. And these are amazing women who didn't get to experience that liberation in so many ways. And I want, and I feel like I'm here to break that circuit, to liberate and heal so much in my lineage, but also, and that story goes super deep about my mom.
Get you back on.
My nana and my nana's mom, and it's super deep. And I have so much respect for those women. And I also look at my daughter and I'm like, no, I know what I'm here to claim and how I'm here to live. Not from, and my inspiration comes from the women in my family. And especially looking at my daughter, is she is learning. Firstly, they have an innate sense of self-worth, which is why they'll say, I want this, and no, I don't want this. It's very clear. We fuck it out of them by telling them, no, that's not realistic. No, that's going to make that person sad. No, that doesn't fit in with my schedule. And then, so again, this is not perfect every day. Last night, I even had a moment with Sol where I was like, Mommy got really tired. I got really tired. I'm really sorry for, and I'll just talk to her like that. Just like so much respect for her. And I'll say, I snapped and I raised my voice, and you don't deserve to be spoken to like that. And I want you to know that. I'm still learning. And sometimes at the end of the day, I'm really tired. Like, you get tired, me too. And I was explaining to her, and she'd go, Mummy, she'd go on my face, Mum, that's okay. I don't like when I yell too. And I'm like, and then we'll talk about how she felt loved and all that stuff. So it's not about being perfect and getting it right all the time. It's about having respect for them and letting them know that they don't, it's not okay for certain people of certain age groups to speak to them a certain way. You have to remember that how we speak to them is how they speak to themselves in their head. And so it's like, when I go to Pilates, I will tell Sol, Mummy's got to do something for herself, and I'll go to Pilates. Or I'm just going to have a little time to write. I have stuff that I like to do for myself. And even at nighttime, I'll say, Sol, in the evening, Mum and Dad like to have just an hour to wind down. And when we push our evening out all night long, Mum and Dad don't get to have a relax, and just explain things like that we have needs too. So I'm not just saying it to her, but she's seeing it. And again, it's not perfect. I still have so much room for improvement in this area, but it is my priority, 100% my priority in my life. And with children, it's just so important that they know what they're worth, and that we know what we're worth. And why do we feel like we have,
beat it out of them? I feel like this is a real thing for you though at the moment. I'm watching it unfold even more. You've always been this way as soon as Sol was conceived. In fact, I remember the call when Sol was conceived. In fact, I remember the call
during the concept.
Just prior. No, I remember the call when you called and you were like, I have news for you. I'm not pregnant, but we want to try. And I was like, oh.
It was like next minute, another call, and we're done.
Yeah, no time wasted. Oh
no.
Do you remember, babe? Morgs, do you remember? Can you remember where we were?
I do. I think I remember
I
vaguely. Remember you saying, because I think another friend of ours, Rose, she was like a couple of months pregnant.
Yeah.
And it was just
where were we?
It was almost like COVID. It just like went through everybody. Like all of our friends started getting pregnant. It was like left, right, and center. Yeah.
So where we were, Morgs, was you were getting your haircut in a barber in Brisbane. And
I don't remember these details. Oh yeah, now I'm coming back. No, it wasn't Brisbane. It was Melbourne.
Okay.
And
then you FaceTimed us, and I was like,
yes, I remember that. Yeah.
But so I remember from the conception, you've just like, because with all of your books, I feel like they're time and date stamps in your life. I really do. Like Earth is Hiring was phenomenal. Life change. If people haven't got it yet, get the damn book. And then Missing the Point for me has been so poignant recently. I'll get back to my question, but like poignant for me, just with where you were at back when you wrote that, it's very based on everything we've talked about, just owning sovereignty, almost just owning who you are and having the boundaries and things. But I feel like your next, where you're going, and just this fire and passion from you at the moment is this conscious parenting and teaching, being a voice for mothers and fathers, just parents of conscious parenting. And it's exciting. I'm watching it and I'm like, you better do a fucking course or something, and it better be done by the time we get pregnant.
This is a funny thing. Say again.
I was like, and it better be fucking done by the time we get pregnant.
Yeah. But this is the thing, is like sometimes I have this voice that's like, well, you're not fucking qualified to do it. Like you've got a 3-year-old and a 9-month-old. But then it's like, it's not about qualification. It's about sometimes about philosophy and experience and awareness and just shining a light on it. And there are very few parenting teachers. Like I've got a list on my hands that I really resonate with, because so many of them are about discipline and strategy and all, and rather than honoring the child's. So I do feel a real calling. I do. I don't know how it's going to happen or whatever yet. But I do feel like I'm a voice for children, and I will be at a playground. Not saying I'm a child whisperer, but I kind of be at a playground. And
Delilah does love you.
Up to me like I'm their mum. It happens all the time. And Eric's just like, when they run up and they'll be like, can you come and push me on the swing? Or watch me. And I think they can feel how much respect I have for them. And the way I speak to them, is I'm just always will look them in the eye and smile at them. And I don't know. I just have so much respect for children. I don't know if it was something to do with my childhood, where I felt super misunderstood all throughout school, all of the time.
What was the ruler? What was your ruler friend?
I had a friend who was a ruler. Her name was Gortensia. She had wool on her hair, and I still have her in my mum's house. Mum was like, I've still got Gortensia. I was like, I would hope so, Mum. Otherwise, it's murder. It's murder.
You killed my friend.
I saw you reaching off camera, then I thought you were going to grab it.
Oh, yeah, I'm just like, here she is. Anyway, I just didn't put it past you. I didn't feel that. And I think that's why I have such a, I just really, there's some kids that just, at the playground, I'll be like, oh, that was fucking annoying, but.
That's like me with every kid.
Ever, period.
But just in general, I just see them and, just, I don't know, I always just make an effort to connect with them. And I just notice in the playground, sometimes I just feel like I have 12 kids at once that I've never met, and they'll just come and tell me things and hold my hands. And I just feel this, like, this advocacy for all of them, not just for mine, and this is why so many of the organizations I give to is like refugees giving birth to their children at the borders, and building schools for Indigenous children that are special for them and not based on white education, and just all different children. I just feel like if we could honor children for who they really are and let them live in our hearts, the whole world would change. There wouldn't be any. There wouldn't be any of it. It's that we've all been led astray from who we really are. And taken away from our hearts, and that's why the world is fucking shit. Well, it's not shit. It's not. It's beautiful.
It's been a year. It's been a hot year.
Why it's off its head right now.
Yeah. Off its head. I feel like Morgs, babe, I feel like your parenting style in all of this is like, you're like the hard to get kind of guy that kids just love because he just gives them nothing.
I'm sure it'll be different with if we ever have our own kids, but like before, when you were like with someone else's kid, is like, hey, watch me. I was like, I could not think of anything. I'm gonna watch someone else's kid. Jesus, you're a saint.
Some kids look flat out annoying.
Yeah,
for sure. Still, still should be allowed to be annoying in their nature,
in their heart.
And with some kids, I'm also like, some kids I'll see them bullying another kid, and I'm like, don't get involved. But it's so hard. I just want to go up and have like this mediation and be like, you do not like. His pink shorts. One kid in London, when I was living in London, was bullying this kid for wearing pink shorts, and then he was borrowing my scoop, and I was like,
do I get it back?
This kid, listen, I cannot bully this kid. I just wanted to defend him so bad. I was like, I was so upset for him.
I talk about this all the time. I'm like, what happened? No, dead set. I'm always like, because I am that woman where I'm like, I will always have to defend. I'm like, if my kid came home from school and was like, Mummy, Sarah was mean to me, or like punched me or did something wrong, what do you do? Like, I would want to go down there.
Especially if their mum's like, no, my kid would never do that. I haven't gotten to that point in my life yet.
So I think I'm just going to homeschool, period, full time.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when you get to that, because I remember one time a kid stepped on my brother's diorama at primary school, and my mum
Christine.
at school, and she ripped his mum like, you do not step on someone else's artwork. You do not, just basically my mum, at Willerton, her job was the person who dealt with all the bullies. Like,
oh, really?
You're a bully.
She's great at that.
You go and see my mum. Yeah. The kids come in the school with machete down their pants. My mum was the one.
This is the school. Like
it would have been a bit of that, Wilson, too. There was
a lot of that. I remember this. Yeah, this is the school. I mean, the school was phenomenal, but like, I remember when the other school, Linwood, had come to the Oval with knives to like fight our boys.
But that happens to every generation, every year. That school comes, because we all went.
And I remember I climbed up on the soccer nets and like watched.
Yeah, so for people listening, Anna and I went to the same high school, even though I'm 4 years older. PK didn't, but your mum taught there.
Yeah.
But we didn't know each other.
Small world where we live.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Actually,
you're one of those fancy private school people, weren't you?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Honey.
I went to John Curtin College of the Arts. It was.
He thought that was private though.
Oh no, it was not private. For sure, not private. It was stoners. Teachers you got who filled out their Coca-Cola account with alcohol. Some amazing school. Not saying I thrived there, but it was every mixture. There was performing arts, like, because it was performing arts school. I was there for soccer. There was soccer, then there was like sailing, and then there was media. It was super eccentric.
I wanted to go there for dance.
When they were in year 8, who knew they were gay, who were contortionists. So you became very accepting of diversity very young. It's still rough.
My mum was
colourful, but still rough.
My mum taught dance, so she used to teach there as well.
Yeah.
So she used to go John Ken. She listens to all these podcasts, so she'll probably hear this too. So.
Oh hi, hi Sharon.
Hey.
We did that like, we're like, hi mums.
Yeah.
I want to go here.
But it's a good school. It is a good school. I just want to say that.
Actually, I don't know where Anna's going to go, but I want to talk a little bit about the response that you got when you said that you were going to stop being vegan.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't going to go there, but let's go there.
I want to go there because it's a topic.
Okay, so firstly, I was vegan for 3 years. I was pretty hard.
You were very hardcore vegan.
I was pretty hardcore about it. And then I was on my book tour with my then 8-month-old baby, breastfeeding and traveling the whole world during the book tour. So much energy going out, not even funny. And one night my body was like, you need to eat fish. And I was like, okay, because I'm not fucking with my wellness, my well-being, when I am responsible for giving life force to another child. And her intuition, again, it's speaking through my body. That's the connection that you have when you're raising a young child, is if I needed something, it was because she needed something. So it's all well and good if I want to stick to my dogma and ideals, but I'm not putting that onto her. And it's funny. So basically, I mean, I came out and talked about it at my book tour like the next day, and then I did the LA one. I was like, I ate fish last night, and I just spoke about it. talk about dogma and everything. And then at my New York one, I spoke about it, and there was a girl who I just finished speaking. It was about 5 hours. I hadn't fed Sol, so my boobs were so sore. I stood in the line for 2.5 hours to sign all the books. Always exhausted, like fainted. Yeah. And then someone stood back and said, I'm not judging you, but, which is, something good's coming up.
This is judgment coming right at you.
How do you think it's okay to justify eating animals and say this? I'm not judging you, but I just want to know, how do you think it's okay to say that you're respectful? And went on and on. I can't even remember it all. And I just remember being so tired. And she meant well. She was just very passionate, and I could recognize that in her because I was like that too. So I wasn't at all like, what? I was like, I completely get it. However, I was so tired, and I just said, you know what? Like, I don't know. All I know is that, like, if it genuinely comes from my intuition, it is okay for the world. And I'm not like, I know what I put out into the world. So if I need nourishment from the animal kingdom, I'm going to give it to my body. It was something very short like that. And she took a photo and that was it. But that was the start of like, oh my God, I'm really going to, and then I got,
do this thing.
I thought you were a solid human. Peter. Don't you know eggs and chicken period? It just went on and on and on and on. What the fuck? And it's just like, okay, whoa. And then I was like, firstly I was like, vegan. And then I was like, I fucking hate vegans.
I got no problems with
you upped it hard. I feel like you kind of had grown this.
Yeah.
You were for 3 years. You were such a savagely active vegan.
Yeah.
And then you weren't, and it was perfect and poetic and beautiful because I was like, it was just you were the embodiment of that. It's okay to change your mind, but people were offended that you changed your mind. And so I just want people to listen. If you want to change your mind, you can change your mind. It's safe and you will survive.
I remember after your birthday,
you got so excited when she wasn't vegan.
Oh yeah. But I'll just say, this is going to lead into a question, but I remember after your birthday that time in the States when we all stayed at the Viceroy.
Oh, in LA?
Yeah, and like everyone went out and I had too much to drink.
Yes.
I got the next day. Yeah, and you made us go to Cafe Gratitude and I was so hungover and I walked in there thinking I was going to get like bacon and eggs and it was just like.
He was so pissed.
I can't remember because with Cafe Gratitude you order obviously based that kind of on how you're feeling and your emotion, isn't it? Like,
that's what the menu is. Fucking hungover.
I know, but the funny thing was, right, the owner of Cafe Gratitude, I learned a couple of years later, he ran into health problems and it was decided that he, by his doctors and stuff like that he actually needed to start eating some specific form of animal protein. So when he came out and said it, and that this is what's happening and he's unwell and this is the advice of his doctors and this is what he needs to do, people went absolutely ballistic over it. There was articles in the paper and all kinds of stuff. People were boycotting the store, wanting to burn it down. Absolutely nuts. So like, I don't have a problem with people if they want to eat vegan and stuff like that. But it's when you try and when people try and put that ideology onto you and say you're a bad person because you don't adhere to the same dogma that they do, that's when it gets a bit rough. But I never asked you. What I wanted to know is like, do you feel any different?
I really thrived as a vegan. I did. I knew how to eat. I wasn't.
Yeah, well, you got that background.
Yeah, I knew how to do it, and I knew how to get everything. And I had a really thriving vegan pregnancy. Sol was 9.2 pounds or something, for over 4 kilos. So really healthy vegan baby. And then I thrived with it until I didn't anymore. And that was that simple. And my commitment is to thriving and well-being and alignment. It wasn't to a certain dogma. And I didn't need to eat vegan to justify that I was a good person. I really believed in it, but only what was more important to me was my body and my health and my well-being, and that I was aligned and obviously taking care of my daughter.
Yeah.
And so, so when I started to eat meat again, I was very slow and I, felt good. So it was. Yeah, it basically worked for my body until it didn't work for my body. Yeah. And then I started to notice that I just wasn't getting the sustenance. I was eating almond butter with my hand, like by the jar at night. Like that was a sign that I wasn't getting what I was needing. Yeah. Even though I was a very mindful eater, breastfeeding my baby with all this energy going out on this book, it wasn't enough for me. It just wasn't. So I had to just drop my stories and dogma and ideals immediately. And I could, but, you know, thank God. But then with Pax, so getting pregnant with Pax, there was not a chance in hell I could have been vegan carrying that baby.
10-pound baby.
Yeah.
Not a chance in hell. He needed me to eat meat, and he needed me to eat. I mean, I could. If I
so many pregnant women, so many people though that have been where you've been, because I hear it all the time now at the moment. We've got lots of different friends that even have been vegan and then are like, I literally had to eat meat. I'm like, I get it, because I've had another best friend that has gone through this. Like, it's this intuitive, I imagine, physical calling of like, I just need to do what my body's asking of me with no judgment.
Yep.
And this goes back to
what your children are asking of you. So even Pax now, he's 9 months old. He will always eat the meat off his plate first, always. And
Morgan's like,
and he got a lot of teeth really quickly. So he needs it. He's asking for it. So obviously in my womb, he was, Mom, just so you know, I ain't gonna need it. And so my whole pregnancy, I craved it a lot, and then giving birth. Ever since I've been breastfeeding him, I've been craving it a lot, and who knows if I will forever. It's not. But I mean, there's lamb shanks, slow cooking right now for him.
Yeah.
But then my daughter Sol, she's not really big on meat. She'll eat it sometimes during the week, but I didn't have meat cravings when I was pregnant with her.
Yeah.
I craved a more vegan lifestyle. So she's got a totally different composition, and she wants totally different things.
Yeah.
So
we don't even eat a lot of red meat these days. We eat a bit of chicken and, a little bit of fish and stuff here and there, but not loads, not like.
We had a beautiful steak last night though.
Yeah, but that would have been the first time in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Steak. Not that I've got anything against steak or red meat. I don't know. I just don't eat.
And it's how you eat it too, like it's you could go into this conversation for hours and go back and forth, like philosophies and the morals and the ethics, and you can talk about that with regards to anything. You can say to vegans, well, you're so compassionate towards animals, that's great, but what about a little bit compassion towards humans who don't think the same as you? Some vegans, I always think about those vegans who storm the restaurants, like power to people who are that passionate, but if there's a family in there who's saved up maybe for a whole month to go for this dinner, you don't know what their blood is like or their heritage is like, or if they're indigenous, where it's very, they love to eat meat, like I have indigenous friends who are like, you would never, ever, ever tell me that I couldn't have my kangaroo curry. Like, you don't know what these people are. And then you're storming and imposing your beliefs and standing there basically berating them while they're having a family dinner. Like, that to me it's not on.
Go on.
No, but I'm just saying, like,
it is this whole thing though of what we like, I think it's so poetic, but this is where you're like, stop missing the point. I was going to be like, this is where people need to stop missing the point and stop being so offended. And I think if everyone could just carry that, I love you're vegan and I'm vegan and you're not, but you're super passionate about climate change and I'm not, but they would if they were vegan, whatever. Like, I'm super passionate about homelessness, but you don't give it, you've never donated $1 to the homelessness. But how beautiful that we both have our passions and our interests, and we can both stand in that and disagree, but love one another still.
Exactly. And my philosophy is that you don't need everyone to adopt a certain philosophy for it to still impact the world. So you don't need everyone to go vegan for it to still have a positive impact on the world. You don't need everyone to adopt one thing. There's going to be people who are genuinely called to it. Like, our intuition is all connected to the same thing. So if someone's intuition is saying something and yours is saying something and you're both into intuition, it's both are contributing to the whole. You're not messing it up. It's that we think you need to do what I'm doing or you're not doing the right thing for the world. And it's you need to do what's in your intuition. I need to do what's mine, because they're both connected to the whole. And that's going to probably look different to what I think in my head, but that's where my job ends. It's not my job to try and oversoul other people and try and take on awakening or take on their soul and think I know better for them, because you don't.
Yeah.
It's what's true for me. I think
as well, PK, it's like, say if whatever your ideology is, I know we're just talking about like, veganism, but let's just use that. It's like, so when you become that way, there's always someone who's going to look at you and go, well, you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Oh, it's great that you don't eat animals, but you live in a house and animals would have been displaced and killed when that house was built. Therefore, you need to go live in a hut by the beach, and you can't piss in the lake because that might kill some fish. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
and then how dare you wear a yellow shirt, because I lost my yellow shirt.
This is mustard. This is mustard, I'll have you know.
How dare you get the color wrong?
My name starts with L, not M. How could you wear a shirt that didn't start with the letter of my name? Oh,
disgusting.
That's literally sometimes what it sounds like.
Yeah, it is. It's like you're
this
never
is the
doing
internet
enough.
in 2020. But what a powerful conversation to be like, we can stop being so offended by things that we are not in, it's not our platform to stand on, I always say, but you can love and respect people where they're at. We've got beautiful other vegan friends who are amazing vegans in that, but it is funny.
I felt so, the guys I was away with, I don't have any, food preferences. One of them was keto, the other one was vegan, and our other mate had to organize the food for everyone. He was like having a night.
That is a boys trip. If that is not a boys trip in 2020, personified, like, let's go on a boys trip, get the fucking beer at 8 a.m.
I can't have any carbs.
Excuse me, I don't do carbs, and I'm vegan. And
he eats avocados. Everyone's just going to eat avocados. That's the only food everyone can have.
Yeah.
I asked this, I'm like, tell me what you all ate. Tell me breakfast, lunch, dinner, go, break it down. I'm fascinated, because I was like,
someone will be like, avocados have got too much saturated fat.
Oh, I know someone who can't eat avocados too. I'm like,
that's heartbreaking.
It's different if you're allergic or you got some medical thing.
Holding on. Yeah, I know.
All right, so I think we dealt with the vegan thing, man. I think I hijacked your question before too.
Yeah, I'm so conscious of time, but I know it
as well. Like it might not be your, like, literally your thing to put in your Insta bio. It doesn't mean that you don't become more aware about it. Like, I am going to become more aware of that issue, of course, because I care.
Totally.
I'm going to become more aware of that. I may not become the poster child for it.
Yeah.
I am going to open my eyes to it. It's about that living in the heart. And when you're living in your heart, you're always going to be doing the most appropriate thing and humbling yourself and learning and being like, fuck yeah, putting yourself in other people's shoes, not just doing it one way,
And why label yourself?
Exactly.
No labels. But on that, it's so true. Yes. And we were speaking to our vegan friends the other day, and Kyle had said, well, you should watch Dominion, which is I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's this animal cruelty.
It's an animal rights, anti-factory farming documentary.
Yeah. And I said to Morgs, and I was like, of course, I know, I'll absolutely watch it. Send it through by all means. Like, I want to watch it. I watched it. We watched it. And I said to Morgs, and it's horrific. And I said to Morgs, I actually think that every person, meat eater or vegan, should watch it, because I think if you can understand where your food comes from, and I remember Morgs and I sat on the couch and we made a promise, because I was like, is it bad that I'm still okay to eat meat, which I am? And I said to Morgs, and then I was like, no, it's not. And I said, but it's made me super hyper aware that I will only eat meat now if I know, like, if it's organic, grass-fed. Like, and look, privilege, yes, because I work my ass off to be able to afford that and have that choice, sure. I know people are like, but I can't afford that. That's okay, I understand that's a privilege. But then I'm like, that was a moment for me. The vegan was like, you need to watch this, and I was like, of course. Watched it, still am going to eat meat, but chose to say, well, I'm going to make sure that I always eat, organic, grass-fed now.
Yeah, and know where it's from. And that's the thing, there's a way to do it. There's a way to do it. There's a way, like, I often think, and it's not the same as comparing to animals at all. So no vegans who are watching this, please don't get on your high horse and say, don't compare rice to animals. But do people appreciate how long it takes for Indonesian farmers to grow rice? Do people actually appreciate that process? Have you ever been there and watched
the water
rice? Has anybody ever have respect for those farmers in that way? It's like, everybody should be mindful of where their food comes from.
Yeah.
Not just animal sourced protein. Of course, it's a totally different story. I'm not comparing, but animal lives matter, of course.
Yeah.
Indonesian farmers' lives matter, of course. It's not one of those fights. It is that everybody should be mindful of where their food comes from. Exactly. It's just part of mindful eating. And whether it's an animal, whether it's vegan, there's always a process involved. It's always, you know, and I think people need to have a look at rice, because it's a bloody intense thing that takes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Morgsy and I talk about this all the time. This is like, I'm like, this is part and parcel.
I learned the other day. Sorry, I'll just give me 2 seconds. It takes 3 years for a lime tree to bear fruit. 3 fucking years. So we're just like in abundance down at the shops.
Yep, exactly. And then there's these farmers who are going through this drought. It's like, there's so many considerations for where our food comes from in general. Totally. We always do a blessing before our food with soul. Yeah. That's what happens when you go to Steiner play groups and stuff. You sing songs of your food. It's beautiful. But anyway, and we do thank the farmers. We thank all the people along the process, whether it's an animal meal or whether it's not. And even I'm like, so, you know, we bake these cookies. Are you grateful for me? You know? Because we do a lot of baking in our house. And even last night I was telling her, you know, we're really fortunate to get to eat this quality of food. And, you know, no matter what it is, just being grateful for the fact that, you know, anyway.
I love it. But before I let you go, you have to let me go here quickly, because I think, as I was talking before and I just said it, I was like, you know, I know that's a privilege thing. However, I work really hard and rah, rah, rah. I want you to speak to, because we both met due to network marketing. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, it's a disservice to me if we don't touch on this call. Mm-hmm. And I still know how much fire and passion and belief and just integrity you bring to this space of network marketing. And I did a Q&A the other day on my Instagram stories, and something that still came up like often in the questions was, I got asked hundreds, but do I still cop? How do I deal with criticism or things about the profession? And I think for us now, even when I said privilege before, I was like, no, but anybody in 2020 to me has the opportunity, anybody, to choose a profession or a side hustle like network marketing and go for it. Mm-hmm. And did you want to speak to the power of finding this early in your 20s? I know this is probably like a whole other podcast, but what is some spitfire that you can give about this fucking amazing profession of network marketing that we both have chosen?
Well, it's amazing. Like anything, there are good actors and bad actors in it. There are companies that are really solid and high integrity and do everything right. And then there are companies who don't, same as any profession. Firstly, there are also some people who get into network marketing and do it really beautifully with integrity. And then there's some who don't, same as any other profession, trades, same as people who sell programs online, same as there's podcasters, there's people who do things with a whole different bunch of flavors. The thing with network marketing that I've always known since I got involved in 2011 or 12 is that it is an even playing field, and anybody can get involved, no matter your education, anything, as long as you've got a fire and you know what you want for your life and you know what you care about. You can partner with an aligned company and their model and make whatever happen for yourself. It's all based on self-responsibility and your own merits, regardless of how the world measures them. And that's been the most beautiful thing about it. You know, I was a young woman in my early 20s with no experience in business, no family experience in business, living in the most isolated city in the world. And it was a platform that allowed me to live into my gifts and create anything I wanted for my life. Retire my mum. My brother and I retired my mum, you know, from her 40-year career. She's a single mother of 4 children. So we grew up on super hard times all of the time. And that was important to me that I could give her some relief in her life. Network marketing allowed me to do that. For me, I wanted to have the resources to do whatever I was able to do and create things and be generous. It's who I am. And I love to be able to do that. That's what drives me, is having resources to do whatever I'm able to do and give to whoever I want to give to, and be able to follow my calling of my heart with no inhibitions. So network marketing for me was the vehicle that respected me for who I was and paid me for who I really am, and with no limits. And I've been able to then do all of my other art and work and programs and very generously, write my books, self-publish them generously. The books are literally just a labor of love and a gift, because of network marketing, how beautifully it butters my bread. and how, I mean, you put into it. It's something that you nourish forever. And obviously, now being married to Erik, my role is different, but it's still a very central piece of our life. It's the center of Erik's life, but it's a very important part of my life too. So not only supporting him, but supporting my own team, and it always will be. Yeah. And the thing is, it's for me, it's a true partnership, and it's a partnership that supports my integrity, my authenticity, my dreams, what's calling me. And it's like, for me, you're looking at social media these days, everybody's doing like a try-hardy version of network marketing.
Yeah, 100%.
My thing, and I'll get $20 off. It's like, that's like rookie level network marketing. The network marketing that we're involved with is like professional, long time, like long money is better than short money. And we can go into this.
High money.
Disclaimer that, you know, you do have to work. This is not a get rich quick thing. It's a real profession. And there's some people who take it seriously, and there's some people who don't. And when you see people like certain people, that Michael guy from Maths put up something, you know, about, and
we're going to do a podcast on this.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
You have no idea. Firstly, you've never been in it. Secondly, you are engaging in rookie level network marketing because you're basically wanting to build your audience and
sell to them.
Sell products to your audience. And then when people say, oh, it's low to buy from your family and friends, hold on a minute. My friend designed my website. I buy from my friends' fashion labels all the time. I support all of my friends' business as a matter of principle. So yes, you do buy from your friends and family. Absolutely. 100%. Anybody in my world who has a product or service that I can support, I will support it if they're important to me. So firstly, why do we have such an obsession with paying people we don't know and not supporting people we do know? That's like one big thing that I was just like, oh, no. Secondly, is that people like to have a dig at something because they're so pissed off that everyday people are creating amazing lives for themselves. That's what triggers people.
Yeah.
And that they don't have the balls to do something they're going to get criticized for a lot of the time. So when I see people taking these stabs at the industry, as someone who's been in for a very long time, as someone who sees behind the scenes what building a billion-dollar beast looks like in high integrity, as I do with Isagenix, I know firsthand, and I see all the criticisms. I've copped all the criticism, everything. But then I look at my life and I'm like, it is worth it. It is worth it that I knew something about it and I saw the magic and the brilliance. And you ask Richard Branson, Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, what they have to say about network marketing. And they're like, find a company that is aligned with you and get involved. And there's great companies out there and there's a lot of ones that are not. But people who have not ever been involved in it. And again, another thing, people can find all the people who it didn't work for. You'll find these documentaries, all the people it didn't work for. Didn't work for them, didn't work for them, didn't work for them. And what about the thousands and thousands and thousands of people who it does work for on multiple degrees? Yeah. Some people, amazing levels of income. Some people, they don't want that. They just want a little bit extra a month to support their family and to take the pain off. But when people are engaging in influencer marketing or any form of referral-based marketing, that's network marketing. It's just not paying as generously a lot of the time as the potential that integrity-based network marketing has. And that's the only one we've ever been involved in, even though we've seen a lot of other stuff. So it does really, when people take stabs at it, when you're one of the good guys, it is like, fuck, that sucks. And I can see how some people do think poorly of the industry because there are a lot of players in it who are disingenuous snakes.
Yeah.
But when you can find a real gem, like Isagenix is, and I know there's a few others, when you can find a real gem and it's aligned with you and you love the products and you use the products because it's all about integrity and you have a vision for your life and you want to partner with a company that wants to support you in having that thriving life, go for it. Yeah. And know that you're going to do anything, you're going to cop criticism. I cop criticism for writing books. I cop criticism for things I wear. I cop criticism for posting a certain thing on it's never going to end. Yep. But I think the thing that people find so confronting, firstly, that you're selling to people you love. Firstly, you're not selling to people you love. The company is. You're showing them something that you genuinely love, which is what we do every day. So that's a hang up that doesn't make any sense to me. Secondly, I love supporting people I love. oh my God, especially financially. I've got people in other network marketing companies that I buy their product to show this my support for them. Yep. In other network, my friends in essential oils, I buy their product. I have an account with my friend Tara, and it's important to me that I can do that. I buy my friends books when they write books all the time. They're like, I'll send you a free one. No, I'm going to buy it. You buy my books. You know, this is
100%.
So it's when people have there's a lot of immaturity around the backlash, but when you truly, and again, there's some companies and ways of doing things that warrant the backlash, 100% get it. However, there's also some real good and some real beauty and some real high integrity. You just got to find the right company, right team, right leader, and also be more excited about what it can create for you if you're willing to apply yourself. Again, it's not a sit on your bum, get rich quick anything. It's a long-term legacy residual thing, but it's so worth it. And for me, for me as a young 20-something, when I got involved, being paid to be myself and to thrive in my gifts, like that's, and then to grow as a person and to have all this personal development attached to it. And it wasn't anything else like it in the world. Yeah. And there's no business model that will compare when it's done right.
Yeah. And I'm like, what, you're 9 years in, I'm 7.5. I'm still like, there is still nothing that has ever put in front of me that has ever come close to, what we do. And so it's just funny for me because in 2020 now, I'm like, we did a podcast where it was like, what if 2020 was actually the year that you gained perfect? Because that's what it is. 2020 is perfect vision. That is what 2020 hypothetically is. So we did a thing on like, what if 2020 was actually the year you gained perfect vision and found something like what we do, if it, it's up your, and stopped having those excuses of, well, my hours have been cut or I don't have enough money. It's like, here we were young 20-year-olds creating a life of our absolute dreams, becoming best friends, traveling the world, drinking champagne and being in each other's bridal party. Like, network marketing to me is just the greatest thing on planet Earth.
Yep. And again, when it's done correctly, what you do with integrity, your company does it with so much integrity. And there's always going to be bad actors. There's always going to be people who don't do things with integrity, but the same goes with everything.
Exactly.
On Instagram, same goes with
doctors.
Create programs and workshops. Same goes with doctors. Yes. Same goes with
mechanics.
Politicians.
Politicians.
Electricians and brickies and anything you can think of. Church pastors.
Yep.
Spiritual gurus. But people love to hate, and people do feel really triggered by everyday people because you're not an expert, you're not a guru. But gone are those days. Like opportunities for everyone, regardless of how much money they were raised with, the color of their skin, the sex, their religious beliefs. There should be opportunities for all of these people to thrive and have what they feel like they're worth.
Yeah.
And sometimes those kind of opportunities challenge people who would prefer to think that only people like them can be successful.
Yeah. And it's funny, Peter, as well, like the whole thing you mentioned is like about people being like, oh, you can't, profiteering off friends and family is wrong. Well, look, if you're blatantly ripping people off, then that doesn't matter whether they're family or friends, that's wrong. Yeah. But it's like the same people, if they owned a pub, they wouldn't let their mates come every night and drink the place dry for free.
Yeah.
If they have shares in Wesfarmers, they're not going to actively stop people from shopping at Bunnings because you know what? Because they'd be profiteering by way of earning a dividend. So it's just, it's such a stupid one, like low level argument.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. It is. And it's coming from somewhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah, something that.
So we have empathy. We always have empathy.
It's like, so when Instagram influencers post a product, they post it and they say, no, but if you know me, don't buy this product. Only people who don't know me can support me.
Yeah.
Only people who don't know me. If you know me, don't dare support me. I only want friends and family who do not support me.
Yeah.
Oh, basically, there's all these easy stabs people like to take. Quite immature stabs.
Yeah.
And some of them are from real pain and hurt, from experiences they've had with shady people, of course. And that's totally understandable. some people who've never had any experience, they just want to be in on a trendy conversation.
I think trap. And some people just don't want to put the effort into actually thinking about what they're saying. It's just, like you said, just repeating something, but without actually giving it any actual thought. It's crazy. Hey, I know Anna's you're looking like you're about to wind this up, but before we go, just tell people a little bit about your podcast.
Oh, I won't even call it a podcast. I'll call it an audio channel so I can express myself. I put it on Spotify only specifically because for me, I created it as a place of expression for myself. Yeah. I'm not interested in
reviews.
No, I'm just not. I'm at that point.
I know you.
I'm not. I'm interested in being able to express myself. I have 2 little kids. I'm not going to get caught up in everybody's views of who I am. And that doesn't mean I'm not open for that I don't receive feedback and all of that. But sometimes constructive criticism, quote unquote, and feedback is entitlement.
Totally.
And sometimes it's projecting your own shit onto someone and then calling it constructive criticism. And I've been there. I've been in business a really long time and creativity a really long time. And this is for my own healing and my own expression. So call it something selfish, whatever it is, but it's totally fine by me. I don't care. So it's a place where I express whatever it is I want to express. I want to have conversations on there. I'll just express things. I'll read out poems over it, whatever. And I don't know where it's going to go, but basically it's for my own promise to myself that I don't cut my life force off again. And that's why I created it.
Don't lose your voice. Cake Clubb.
Cake Clubb.
Yeah. I was like,
with 2 B's, 1 K.
Yeah, I'm like Cake, No, Cake Clubb. So Cake, CLUBBE.
Yeah.
Only on Spotify. I love it. I'm excited to listen. I saw the conscious parenting one. So if you liked anything about PK, which I know you will love everything.
Well, there's so much more we could have talked about the week.
We'll do another one. We'll just do a weekly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, weekly check-in.
We're about to switch. We're going to do it on the couch. So we'll have a glass of wine, do it on the couch, shoot the shit. Right. I'm keen.
Oh, hopefully we can do a live one soon. Mark sorts his shit out.
Apparently, word on the private street is not till March 2021. So
no state orders.
Yeah.
No.
Straight. Yeah.
For West Australia, apparently.
God.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole other conversation.
We can go there in a whole other. Yeah. Well, I need a glass of wine for that one, but thank you, my love.
That one.
I need a bottle of champagne. Yeah. But we love you. We love who you are. I
love you. We love you. Me and Marula, Gortensia.
I love Gortensia. We all love Gortensia. No, but thank you for your just magnificence, truth, power, badassery, friendship. And we will definitely get you on again.
I'll get you. All right. See everyone.
Bye.
Ciao.